FP, and I'm telling you, I just quiveled because what he is going to share with us and the listeners, I just wholeheartedly agree with him. But before we do that, I just want to set the stage. Giants last night in Arizona lost their 6th straight game, and the thing that we're talking about and you're sharing with us from your experience is a manager's job and Bob Melvin's reaction last night. Evan, if you can play Bob Melvin after last night's game, his message, I'd appreciate it.
When you're going through losing streaks, at least you fight. For the most part, we have. That was an awful game. And we made it interesting at the end, but didn't play well. Made Harry get multiple outs. We had a starter on the ropes every inning. Couldn't cash in. It's a bad game and a bad stretch by us.
What do you think stood out worst?
We just looked like we were running around in quicksand for a while. So, it is what it is. But doesn't feel very good when you play like that.
Do you mean defensively?
Everything. The at-bat, we have guy on the ropes every inning and can't cash in but a couple of runs. It's just a bad game.
Was that a message that was relayed to the team?
I'm not going to talk about what I say to anybody.
So that is Bob Melvin hot. You could fry an egg on the top of his head. He's that hot. FP, it sounded like he wanted to mention, this is just me, Casey Schmidt, and that at bat that you had referenced last segment. I got to give Bob Melvin credit again. I'm no pro athlete. You're the former athlete on the show. But I thought it would have been weak sauce had he mentioned any particular player. Now, when the lights aren't and the cameras aren't around, go in on everybody. I get that. But can I call that a win? Can I give Bo Mel some praise for not calling out one specific person? But let me just throw this to the listeners out there. Give us a call, 888-957-9570. If you could call out somebody on this Giant team, who would it be right now? Who would that one person be? And I know you didn't like Schmitz at bat, but I'm going to give Bo Mel credit for taking one for the team. When asked, he didn't mention the player, and to me, he had their back.
So not only do you risk losing the one player you call out,
right,
if he's a young player, you have a risk of losing, did you hear he called out so-and-so last night? So I think you could say we stunk. We as a group didn't play well last night. That was a bad game. And if you keep it general, you're still getting the point across. And more importantly, I just never liked coaches or managers that make their point through the media. Huh? Meaning, if you got a problem with the way I'm playing or we're playing, come in the room and tell me. Call me in your office and tell me.
Not public.
Well, you could still go public, but tell me first. So based on the fact that you can kind of, you got the sense that he went and talked to the team first and he said, tighten it up, clean it up. That's BS. Then he came back and called out the team in the press. That's fine. But if you're just going to call out the team in the press conference and then you take it to another level and you start individually calling out players, like Brock Purdy was terrible today. Like Steph was 1 for 25 from 3-point line. That can't happen ever again. Like you start doing stuff like that, now you're going to alienate everybody. So the way he did it is what a veteran manager does. The way we played tonight is unacceptable. That stunk. After he addressed the players. And I think he did a good job of maybe catching himself and calling out an individual in an at-bat in a big situation and then just generalize things. It's just, sometimes you can't control your emotions, and I think we as fans love when we see a coach or a manager that be real and be authentic.
Yeah.
It's just like, if Bob Melvin would have came out and gave us the Gabe Kapler last night and he said like, well, there's and said nothing, we would have just been like, wait a minute. And that's even more frustrating. And Gabe did that a lot. If I'm being honest, he did. He would just say nothing. And you're sitting there going like, what did he just say? Like his team just like crapped the bed. And it's one game of 162.
Well, there's 62 games in now.
Six losses in a row. You could have won a few of them. I'm not trying to say that this team's great by any means with 13 guys on the IL and you're missing some key parts.
Yeah.
But this is what it is right now. Nobody gives a crap how many injuries you have. Nobody has sympathy for you.
Not a soul.
So you got to buckle up, man, and find ways to win. And it doesn't have to be the obvious ways. It's make routine plays, throw strikes, run the bases aggressively but intelligently. Just play the game of baseball the right way. Play fundamentally sound baseball. Like it doesn't have to be A-listers always. I've seen teams win a World Series with just like Gerardo Parra wasn't good enough for the Giants, and the Nationals got him in 2019, and he turn their whole season around as a bench player.
Right.
So like there's certain tweaks and moves you can make that aren't the obvious ones, like signing Aaron Judge and making tweaks to a bullpen and getting free agents that maybe didn't fit in somebody else's plan and are on the waiver. There's ways to figure things out to make tweaks and adjustments. There is. So I'm not going to sit here and throw the whole season away because of a 6-game losing streak. Was last night frustrating? Yeah. They didn't play good baseball last night. They didn't play major league baseball.
Well, the last week has been frustrating. And FP, I'm going to keep it real. You mentioned Gabe Kapler. Besides his weird TikToks and his IG post, how do you think he's feeling right now? He's probably like, yeah, y'all wanted to blame me, huh? Because I had muscles and tats and I'm a good-looking dude? I was the joke of the town. Now look at you. You guys ran me out of town. Farhan kept his job, but you guys wanted to blame me, and it cost me my job. How you doing, San Francisco Giants? And I'm wondering if he's eating his scrambled eggs and his Jimmy Dean sausage, thinking, hey, if you would have got me Matt Chapman, if you would have got me Blake Snell, if you would have went got me Jung-Hoo Lee, there's no telling what we could have done. But Gabe can say this, FP, and I'm being Monday morning quarterback, but I feel it. I took your asses to the playoffs. We won 107 when I was the skipper. But all you guys wanted to do was focus on my hair and my tats and my muscles. But look at you now. Dude, and the reason I bring that up is not a bad take. It's real.
Gabe focused on his hair and his muscles.
But he took you to the playoffs. Even if you want to say it's a fluke. FP, they won.
More than his players.
Well, FP, he gets credit, though. My point is, I feel like the Giants' faceless ownership sold their soul by saying night-night to Gabe and keeping Farhan here.
Dude, once you lose a clubhouse, you ain't getting it back.
Okay, but I don't care about losing clubhouse. I care about losing games. And
if you lose a clubhouse, you're going to lose games. Dude, you're not making any sense.
It's a fine line, FP. What is it? Oh, we love FP, but we're not winning. So what are you really gaining? Like you can sit there and say Gabe lost the clubhouse. I'm not saying he didn't. The bottom line is about wins and losses. And right now, this is not acceptable. And my bigger point is, Gabe can say, and I know it's early.
I don't know why we're bringing Gabe into this.
Because you talked about Gabe. You brought Gabe up just a second ago, right. And Gabe was symbolic of the failures of this regime. And my point in why I'm bringing Gabe up is Farhan should have been ousted with them. And that's why I feel like this is just a dark cloud, and I want to call it karma, that everybody's getting hurt, everything that you were supposed to do, and not firing this guy. And I'm talking about Farhan and him. He handpicked Gabe, and Gabe gets fired. He keeps his job, and now Giant fans want to wonder why they got bad luck or things aren't going their way. That's all I'm trying to tell you, FP, is maybe this is karma for the way you treated Kapler and saying, Farhan, you get another year.
Dude, when you're not communicating to your players and you're not speaking up as the leader of the team in team meetings and you're playing the most important games of the season to get you the playoffs or not, and you're not participating as a manager and you're texting people and not talking to them, those are all reasons to give anybody an excuse to let you go. There's just, I feel like that ran its course. So firing Gabe is not the reason why they're playing bad this year. That's the most out there take guru I've ever heard in my life.
No, it's not the
curse of Gabe Kapler this year.
They're playing bad ball, and you can't blame him. He's not the scapegoat. Farhan is still here. I feel like, and I said it, FP, that was wrong. I'm not telling you if Kapler was here, they'd be 10 games over. I'm not. I'm telling you they made a decision, the faceless ownership, to keep Farhan when he has not done diddly squat, and he should have left with Kapler. That's my point. And I think now that's what's anger. The anger comes from Giant fan is, how the hell, what has this dude done? What has Farhan done to keep his job and not be thrown out with the bathwater with Gabe? That's the point I'm trying to hammer home.
Yeah, and I hear that from a lot of my friends that are Giants fans, that exact same take. So, you went the long way around the block to get to your point, and I understand your point because I hear it a lot. But once again, I'm not defending anybody here. I'm defending presidents of baseball operations in general. They get how much they can spend from ownership. then how they spend the money is on them. They always have to check back in. Can I sign him for this? Can I sign him for that? Being within an organization for 11 years as I was back east, I knew all the secrets.
Right.
I knew guys they wanted to sign, that they would go to ownership and they would say no. I know the guys they wanted to trade for and they had trades on the table. Like I got the curtain back front office for the first time in my career and how it goes behind the scenes. So you target guys and then you go get guys as a front office and then everybody signs off, ownership. Sometimes managers don't have a say on if you sign a backup catcher or whoever it is. Like sometimes that's just your thing. Ideally, it's ownership, front office, coaching staff, all sign off on the same guy. You're all on the same page. Like lineups on a daily basis, who starts, who's the opener, who's not. There can be give and take on that, and I think that's healthy. But like the team you're assembling, and if I'm the manager, like it has to be players that I know fit into how I'm going to manage. Like because sometimes, Guru, you can get a hodgepodge of athletes, whether it's football, basketball, or baseball, that just don't fit.
No, I get it.
And so in that regard, the front office puts the chess pieces on the table, and it's the manager's job to do what he can do with those pieces. Now, when it all gets thrown south and you get injury after injury after injury, and you're like, is this really happening? You see two catchers get hurt in the same week, and this guy gets hurt. Now Blake Sable's catching, and then your leading on base percentage guy tweaks his hammy, and then Conforto's raking, and he slides into second, and he hurts his hammy. You're just like, I've never seen anything like this. Nick Ahmed gets jammed on a little blooper in Pittsburgh, and that hurts his wrist.
Yeah.
And he just solidified everything on the left side of the infield defensively. And now there's all kinds of question marks at shortstop. And so like when all these things happen, those are out of your control. And the only thing you can do as an organization, hope that your depth of your minor league system can tread water, play 500 baseball, win one, lose one, until the cavalry comes back. Then everybody gets locked in. And it's not immediate. It's not video game. You just don't plug in Michael Conforto off the IL and say, go get him. It takes a minute to get your timing. If you're Blake Snell, it takes a minute to get your timing. If you're Camilo DeBall right now making adjustments in the bullpen, it takes a minute. So, like, these things aren't just a video game. It's going to take a second.
Oh, you know what? Let's go out to Alameda and let's talk to Carlito. He wants to share his thoughts on the state of the Giants. What's up, Carlito?
Hello, gentlemen. Number one, great shirt, Guru. You are looking fly. That's a great shirt.
Oh, thanks,
I'm going to get into the Giants. This is what I think. Look, the Yankees come in. I like the Yankees just as much as anybody. That's a great organization, great team. But they came in and took our heart out, and we lost our confidence completely. They screwed up. But I'm going to say this: if this keeps up, we can't do this all year. Somebody's got to go. I would move on from Farhan Zaidi first and send a message. Thank you.
So if you move on from Farhan, what's that going to change? They're going to win tonight against the Diamondbacks?
No,
like mid-season, I'm talking.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay,
like right now.
I hear you. Well, yeah.
Okay, you fire Farhan tomorrow. Yeah. Like, what's that going to do? Oh, they're going to go to Texas and kick the Rangers' ass.
It's bigger than the results on the field. FP, it's management saying it didn't work. It's time to move on. That's what it signifies. Like right now, it just seems to me, and I understand it because I'm all over. I got ADD when it comes to the Giants. Like if you told me right now, Goo, you give me your right fingernail, they can make the wild card. I would do that for Giant fan because I'm a romantic, a sports romantic. You don't know what that wild card berth could turn into, but that's neither here nor there. Farhan, the cupboards are bare. Everything looks bad right now. How did you survive and Gabe get capped? So that's one thing. But right now, everything that you're talking about in regard to what message would it send if I'm a diehard Giant fan and he was relieved of his duties, I would say, okay, somebody finally said enough is enough. Not that we're going to win 20 straight, FP, but there would be a message to the fan base that this is not acceptable. And that's why I brought up Gabe, because he was the poster boy of what was wrong with this team and organization. And Robin got fired, but Batman should have went with him with Farhan. Okay, I didn't bring up Kapler the 2 days we've been talking, but all of a sudden, the way this season's going, Luciano not knowing or a scout or what have you, Farhan, you are in control of this ship. Not to know dude had a problem with routine grounders, and now, yeah, I know he's hurt. Something's up with the hammy, but the talk about somehow this got swept under the rug. That's a fireable offense, especially when we talk about Luciano at the plate being probably one of the most attractive facets to your team, and yet you can't even utilize that because we don't know what this dude is. That's a fireable offense, FP.
Well, I think
that's all.
You're not making bad points. I think you just have to evaluate at the end of the year. You have to, and I think there's probably going to be. Like anybody anybody that's the head of a major league team at the highest level, you're always getting evaluated. Whether you're the manager, whether you're the GM, whether you're president of baseball operations, whether you're a player on the team, you're always getting evaluated. And at the end of the year, the one line that like literally is emblazed in my brain. Remember on the other station when Ralph Barbieri and
I already know where you. I think
Sabian used to get into it on the air.
Oh man!
And, I mean, they would go back and forth.
The
and
razor.
Ralph would question him all the time, and then Sabes would get pissed, and he would go at him. And Sabes' line was like, "Judge me by my body of work. Like, wait till the end of the season, and if we are this bad at the end of the season, then I'll come on the show, and you can have at it, and I deserve it. But like right now, we are on June 5th, and we're freaking out." Like, I'll freak out. I'll freak out when Brandon Ayuk is missing camp.
Okay.
I'll freak out when the Giants are out of it July 30th. It's not time to freak out. It's time to be frustrated. It's definitely time to be frustrated, especially at the brand of baseball that I didn't think at times last night was major league quality. It's the big leagues. You get a high hopper, I don't care if you're on the fastest infield in the world, you make that play. It's the big leagues. When you're a shortstop and there's a bunt with the runner on first, you cover second base. Like, it's the big leagues. And last night was a bad brand of baseball and a bad game. Am I freaking out that the season's over and this guy needs to be fired and this guy, like Guru, like that's sports talk radio. Like, I know that's what we do, and that's fans. You high highs and low lows. But if you're going to get on this roller coaster and the Giants, for some reason, sweep the Rangers and they come back home and they have a good homestand, and now you're going to go like, oh yeah, I see that. Okay, now this is what I'm talking about. Like, you can't do this. Like, you can't go high highs and low lows, and I love him, I hate him, I love him, I hate him. Like, just for your own mental health. Like, it's a game. It's a freaking game. There's way more important things in life than a game.
Yeah, but
it's baseball.
No, but I hear you. But nobody
like,
wants to hear that.
People's jobs on June 6th. Like, okay, if it's September 30th and they're 20 games out and they're missing the playoffs, and okay, I get it. It's big boy sports. You got to buckle up your pants, put your helmet on, put your mouthpiece in. It's big boy sports, and you're accountable. And accountability is a big thing.